Good evening, and welcome to La Villa School of the Arts Orientation. I'm so excited to have your student as part of one of the most exciting things that I think can happen for them, and that is being in the band. And I'm excited to get to know the parents that will be our support team and help your student be as successful as they can be in this program. I'm Dr. Ann Valle, and I've been teaching for over 30 years. I truly have a passion for what I do, and I'm excited to share that with you and your family. I am originally from Michigan. I received my Bachelor of Music degree from Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo. And then I came down to Florida State University, where I received the Master of Oboe Performance and the Master of Music Education. Then I went to DeLand, Florida, which is over by Daytona Beach, where I was the director of bands at DeLand Middle School for 9 years. And then I was the professor of oboe and music education at Stetson University for 25 years. This is my 7th year at La Villa, and I've just had such a thrilling experience teaching the students at La Villa and working with my colleagues, Mr. Christopher Banks and Mr. Thomas Flynn. At La Villa, with the concert band, we will soon divide the kids up by instrument. And in fact, tomorrow is the big reveal day. And when we give our big announcement on Friday, the students will come home with a detailed list of exactly what they need. And it's important for you guys to follow that list. We specify the make and model of the instruments that we would like you to get, the method books that we'll use, the supplies that you'll need to be successful. We typically work with 3 music stores in the area on different parts of town: Music and Arts, Music Time, and Clark's Music. And these 3 companies have a list of what we expect our students to have, and so they will have available to you all of the specific instruments and books and supplies that we want you to have to be successful. In fact, on Saturday, Music and Arts will be doing a virtual rental meeting for all La Villa students, and that will be a Zoom meeting on Saturday at 10 o'clock. And for parents that are interested, you can come to the meeting and then place your order online, and the music representative from Music and Arts will bring the instruments to the band room the following Monday, and then I will distribute those to the students after I've shown them exactly how to put it together carefully and things like that. So that's something I recommend you check out. They know exactly what we expect, and they have it fixed online so you can get the right things. Our primary objectives in the band program at La Villa are to teach music through performance, which means that we really teach the students to have a true understanding of the fundamentals of playing their instrument. And that requires focus, attention, practice every day, and making goals, setting goals and strategies on how to reach those goals. During the last 3 weeks of school, we've been looking at many videos about each of the instruments in the band with demonstrations and master classes, so the students could get a thorough understanding of what each instrument sounds like and looks like, and their role that they play within the band or the orchestra. I asked the students to play some of those videos for you at home, and so I hope that you enjoyed that. I like to include the parents in everything that we do, because you are the most important person in your child's life that can help encourage them and support them to be the best that they can be. At orientation, we talked about how quickly we move in the classroom. We see the students 90 minutes a day. And so it's important that they have an instrument that can keep up with them, so to speak. In the instrument detailed letter that we sent out, we specifically ask for intermediate level instruments, because if the students get the standard beginner level instrument, they will outgrow that instrument within a couple of months. And the instrument's not going to be able to sustain the level at which they're going to try and play. Personally, I also request specific instruments because I would like to have like instruments, like all of the clarinets on the same kind of clarinet and the same kind of mouthpiece, because that will only make the band sound better because they will all be on the same equipment. So please pay attention to that list as you get ready to get your instruments. During this, there are a few instruments that if the student plays this instrument, you will not rent from the music store. These instruments are very expensive and impossible to rent. And so they would include the bassoon, the euphonium, the French horn, and the tuba. So those instruments, we have an inventory of those instruments that you would rent from La Villa for a very nominal fee. And you are still responsible to get the mouthpiece and the book and the supplies, but the actual instrument you'll get from La Villa and you'll rent from us. During this time of COVID-19, it has totally changed the way we do everything. And we are still in the process of trying to figure out exactly how we're going to deal with teaching the kids how to play their instruments. It's a wind instrument. I have talked to a lot of my friends who are band directors, and they have been playing in their rehearsals successfully about how they've been handling the safety measures. And there are two things that I talked to the students about today, and I'm looking for parents that might be interested in helping us. Is I have two patterns, very simple patterns, to make what you would call a musician's mask that has a little opening for their instrument. And then the other thing is a bell covers for the instrument that would go over the bell, since that's where most of the air comes out. And so if you're a parent that likes to sew and wants to help, you could send me an email. Believe me, a lot of your students already volunteered you, but send me an email and I can give you more details. The more people we have helping in that project, the fewer each person has to make. But my hope is that we can get enough of the bell covers and the masks for musicians to be able to actually start teaching the students how to play their instruments in class. The other option that I'm looking at is playing outside. All of the studies say you should be separated by at least 10 feet. And so either a larger space inside, or as the weather cools down, possibly going outside and playing. And that is supposedly the safest way to play instruments, separated and outside. But we obviously keep the safety of our students and ourselves the number one priority. I'm looking into that, and I'm hoping that we can make that work. The other option that I'll be doing is I will be leading the students to videotapes that are very detailed on the first several lessons on their instrument. So there may be a lot of independent work, and by following these videos, that might help. Another thing that we have already set in place is using Flipgrid. And so I may give the students an assignment, like show me how to put together your instrument properly. And I might have them do me a little Flipgrid that I can look at, or how to form an embouchure, or different things like that. So we are in the process of figuring things out. This has all been a learning curve, but I think we're getting closer to figuring out what we need to do. I also want to alert the parents and the students about assignments that the students have been getting. If you should be checking focus regularly, and if your student has a 0 in focus, that means they did not do an assignment. And we work very, very hard to walk the students through each assignment so they know exactly what they need to do, they know exactly how to do it, and they need to get it done on time. I've been very lenient these past couple of weeks with the deadlines or the due dates, but starting next week, the due date is going to be firm, and for each day that it's late, the grade will go down 1 letter grade. Now, the idea is they must do the assignment because a 0 means they didn't do it, but they have to do the assignment to get at least partial credit. So please encourage your students to keep a journal or an organizer where they can write down and stay organized the assignment, the due date, where they're going to do the assignment. Is it going to be in Flipgrid? Is it going to be somewhere else? Is it a quiz in forms? So make sure your students are following through with getting their assignments done on time. As far as the grading goes, basically 20% of their grade is how do the students come to class? Are they prepared? Are they alert? Do they have all of the supplies that they need? With the online learning, I really request that the students have a desk or a table or something that they're sitting at with their notebook and their pencil and their paper and eventually their instrument, because I will have them demonstrate their music and their music stand. They need to set up their space. I've seen some kids online that are sitting in their bedroom and on their bed, eating food. You know, we are in school and they would not do that at school. And so they need to behave at home the same way that they would be expected to be at school. So parents, if you could please help me with that. Make sure they have a professional environment free of distractions. The other thing on that 20% is does the student show maximum effort? Now 30% of the grade is the student's responsibility to turn in all of their work on time. Are they prepared for all of their playing exams? Do they participate in class discussions? And do they answer questions or do they ask questions? I want students that are engaged. I want students that have curiosity, inquisitive, and they need to be participating in that kind of a manner. And then 50% of the grade, it says, is based on performances and other activities like master classes, sectionals, anything, attendance to anything that we do that maybe is outside of the regular school day. Now in 6th grade, we don't have a lot of outside activities, but we might have a master class. And if we have a master class, the attendance is required. During this time, it might be a virtual master class. Hopefully we'll be able to do a concert. And if we have concerts, those are required. The attendance there is required. I speak to the students all the time about the way we form a team. And everybody in the band is important to be part of that team. And if we rehearse with a certain instrumentation and then we go to have a concert and people are absent, that changes the performance that the team will present. And so it's very, very important that at the time that we know when concerts might resume, that you get those in the calendar and that you know what is expected of the student. So basically, the students are expected to attend class prepared with everything that they need to be able to perform. Students are expected to practice daily, a minimum of 30 minutes a day in order to improve. I would like the students to keep a practice journal where they write down the time that they practiced, how many minutes they practiced, what did they practice, What did they get better at? What still needs to improve? I want them to be their own teacher and be critical about how they're developing as a musician. I strongly encourage students to get private lessons, especially now where they can work with a private teacher. And I have a list of teachers that I recommend. And again, as we start getting the instruments passed out, I can give you that kind of information. Students are also expected to be on time, which in the musicians world is really the students are expected to be early. It's important that they have their microphone working, that their camera is working, and that they're in their space that is going to be set up as though they are at school. The Wi-Fi, if they're near a source for the Wi-Fi, that helps so they don't get dropped. And best is if they can plug into the Ethernet. But I really want to set up the stage for success. As with any activity, you get out of it what you put into it. And band will not be fun unless you practice. There are more values in the study of music as a discipline that transfer to all areas of life. And although that doesn't happen immediately, persistent practice will lead to enthusiastic and driven practice. It is very, very important that your practice is focused and you have a plan and that you can make progress by doing it every day. It's very frustrating to a student that doesn't practice and then they see themselves getting further and further behind the rest of the class. And the whole class has to wait for them to catch up. So it's important that as I give assignments, that they are keeping up and practicing. And some students will learn it really fast. Other students need a little bit more time. And that's just how it is. And so you take the amount of time that you need in order to get better on what you're trying to do. So some suggestions that I have that will help you with your practice time is, first of all, set a specific time each day where you will do your practice. Always use a tuner and a metronome. It should be right there, second nature, to help you play in tune and to play in time. Make sure you have a place that's free of distractions. You know, if your phone is going off or the TV is blaring or whatever you might have going on, that's too distracting for you to have focused practice. So make sure you have your stand and your chair and your music and your pencil, and you have everything you need to have a successful practice. I already talked about using a practice journal and setting goals. I already talked about practicing for 30 minutes every day and keeping track of what you practice and for how long. We really want to see you succeed. And during this time, I think everybody's going to have to learn how to be more independent and to teach themselves through the various platforms that we have available to us. There are all sorts of videos on YouTube. I will be sharing videos. Every video that I've shared, I've put in Teams, and the students know exactly where they are. Parents, if you need to contact me for any reason, the best first step is to go through email, and I'll have that posted in Teams. From the email, we can arrange to either have a phone call or a virtual meeting. That's about what we have for right now. As a last resort, if you want to come in and have an in-person meeting, I'm really not sure how that's working at this time, but I will check if that's what you need. We are here for you. We want to see your child succeed. We want to help them to be the best person that they can be. And I just like to ask for you to help as well. I made a promise to those students, to your students, and I told them I would give 150%. I will give them everything I've got to help them do what they want to do. But in return, they need to give me back 150% because I can't do it for them. They need to have ownership and responsibility and really push themselves to be the best that they can be. So like I said, tomorrow's the big reveal. We will announce the instruments. We've worked very hard at trying to decide what we think your student will be the most successful on. We've been asking them questions about what's your favorite instrument? Give me your 2 favorite instruments. And for the most part, we have been able to put everybody on their first and second choice. And there were a few places where we thought, oh man, that student will probably be really good on this instrument. So that will be tomorrow. And then, like I said, don't do anything without the detailed list. The 3 music stores that have our information is Clark's Music, Music and Arts, and Music Time. On Saturday, Music and Arts will be doing a virtual rental meeting where you can get everything done online, and the instrument will be at La Villa the following Monday. So all the best. I hope we have a wonderful year, and I hope soon we'll be able to get a little bit back to normal. Thank you.